So let me ask you, have you ever really thought about a future where aging isn't just about getting older, but about making every single year more vital, like actively shaping how your body ages? Welcome to Tomorrow Unveiled, where we explore the most groundbreaking discoveries shaping our future. Today, we're jumping into the Immortality update this week in longevity science. And this isn't just, adding years. It's really about boosting your health span, living better, sharper, for longer.
Exactly. And, our dedicated research team has spent the last week, September 10th to 17th, 2025, really digging through all the latest science. We're always focused on what's genuinely important and, maybe most critically, what shows up across different reliable sources. Here on Tomorrow Unveiled, our goal is really to cut through all the hype and noise, give you the essentials, and offer a view of longevity science that's, well, optimistic, but also grounded in reality.
And wow, what a week it's been. Seriously. Let's kick things off with something fundamental, how we're starting to understand ourselves differently. The new era of diagnostics, peeking into your biological future. It feels like we're moving past just counting birthdays to actually grasping our biological age and maybe even the specific ways our own bodies are changing over time.
We really are. A huge lead forward is coming from AI-driven diagnostics, precision diagnostics. So, for instance, there's this new systems age blood test. It looks at DNA methylation.
Okay, right. Those chemical tags on DNA that change as we age, like a clock.
Exactly like a clock, yeah. But a really sophisticated one. This test doesn't just spit out one general age number. It meticulously measures 11 distinct biological systems.
11. Like what?
Think heart, lungs, your immune system, metabolic health. The works. It gives you this incredibly personalized snapshot of how different parts of your body are actually aging.
Wow. So it's not just year 45. It's more like, okay, your cardiovascular system looks maybe 38, but your metabolism's acting a bit older, maybe closer to 50. That kind of detail was pretty amazing.
It is.
And I noticed, too, these AI-powered proteomic aging clocks, they're getting incredibly good at spotting those individual patterns.
Yeah.
It really feels like it's pushing us towards interventions that are, just for us.
It absolutely is. And sticking with AI for a second, there's also this retina-age, basically an AI analysis of a retinal scan.
From your eye?
From your eye, yeah. Non-invasive. And the research team found it can actually predict your 5-year risk of cognitive decline, even dementia.
Just from an eye scan. That's incredible, the potential for early identification there.
It's huge.
So what this really means for you, listening, is this shift from just reacting to problems to, I guess, predictive health engineering. We're not just waiting to manage diseases anymore. We can actually start to understand and maybe even shape our own biological path forward. It gives you a personal roadmap for longevity like we've never had, allowing for much earlier, much more precise actions. Okay, so if we can map our biological age, the obvious next question is, can we reset it? At a cellular level, let's move into cellular and genetic reboot systemic rejuvenation. I mean, this is where we talk about interventions that could maybe literally reboot our bodies.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really exciting, I think. Our research team analyzed a landmark study. It involved using FOXO3 engineered stem cells, they call them SRCs, in aged primates.
Well, yeah, XO3. That's the longevity gene, right?
That's the one, yeah, associated with long life in humans. So they engineered these stem cells, put them into older primates, and the results were, frankly, stunning, a systemic rejuvenation.
Stunning how? What did they actually see?
Okay, get this. An average biological age reversal of 3.34 years.
3 years younger.
Average, yes. And not just in one place. Across 61 different tissue types and 10 entire organ systems. This isn't some tiny tweak. It's broad, deep, systemic reversal.
3 1/3 years younger across almost everything. That's hard to wrap your head around. Was it just numbers, or did the animals actually seem younger, function better?
Oh, the functional improvements were absolutely there. Really striking. They saw better cognitive function, restored bone density, even rejuvenated immune systems, reproductive systems, too.
Oh, yeah.
It clearly made a big difference to their overall quality of life. And what's maybe even more fascinating is how it seems to work. It looks like it's down to paracrine signaling using exosomes.
Exosomes.
Yeah.
These little tiny messenger bubbles that cells release.
Exactly, like tiny natural nanoparticles carrying these anti-aging instructions throughout the body. It was released by the engineered cells. And that hints at a future where we might not even need the cells themselves. Maybe just the messages. Cell-free therapies? Safer, easier, maybe?
That's a fascinating prospect. Okay, speaking of cells, let's talk about the bad actors. Those zombie cells, senescent cells.
Right.
The ones that just hang around, refusing to die. spewing out inflammatory stuff that ages everything around them.
Yeah, they're a major target. And that's why our team was pretty excited about things like senolytic CAR-RT therapy.
CAR-RT, that's the living drug approach where you engineer immune cells.
Precisely. Chimeric antigen receptor T-cell therapy. You basically take a patient's own T-cells, tweak them genetically so they specifically hunt down and destroy those senescent cells.
Like cellular assassins.
Kind of, yeah. And in mouse studies, it worked both to prevent and reverse age-related metabolic problems. It basically clears out the junk, letting the system function more healthily.
Powerful stuff. Were there other approaches targeting senescence or that age-related inflammation bubbling up this week?
There were. The team also highlighted BioAge's BGE-102. It's an oral drug, an NLRP3 inhibitor.
NLRP3, that's part of the inflammasome, right?
Yeah.
Big driver of inflammation.
Right, you got it. So inhibiting it tackles that chronic, low-grade inflammation tied to aging. And interestingly, in preclinical work, it also seemed to help reduce weight, so potentially hitting aging from a couple of angles.
Interesting. But it's not just about the therapies themselves, it's getting them to the right place. Any news on gene therapy delivery?
Oh, absolutely. Huge progress there. Our researchers noted new systems like lipid nanoparticles combined with something called spherical nucleic acids, SNAs.
Okay.
They found this could triple the efficiency of CRISPR gene editing.
Triplet.
Yeah, while also making it less toxic,
Yeah.
which is obviously critical for safety. And there was another platform, FastPLV, a type of liposome, basically a fat bubble delivery system. It allows for efficient, repeatable delivery of genes throughout the body. That's a big deal because it opens the door for gene therapies you could potentially re-administer if needed, reaching lots of different tissues.
Okay. The big picture here, the really profound idea, is that we're getting closer to being able to, well, reprogram our own biology, fundamentally. Imagine treatments that don't just slow things down, but actually restore youthful function. That's the potential we're looking at. Hey, just a quick pause here. If you're finding this deep dive insightful, maybe take a second to like this video and subscribe to Tomorrow Unveiled. It really helps us reach more people curious about the future. And for those of you on YouTube, you might see that new hype button. If you're enjoying this, hitting that helps boost the visibility too. And definitely turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Okay, back to it. Let's zoom in on something vital for, well, everyone. Fortifying the brain beyond amyloid. For ages, it felt like Alzheimer's research was all about amyloid plaques. But the research team is seeing a real strategic shift now.
Yes, definitely. There's new research really emphasizing the gut as a major player in brain health. It's forcing us to look beyond just the brain in isolation.
The gut-brain axis.
Exactly. One study found that prebiotics, these are beneficial fibers like inulin, fructooligosaccharides.
Food for good gut bacteria.
Precisely. They actually improved memory in older adults. And get this. In mouse models of Alzheimer's, these same prebiotics reversed AD-related frailty. How? By restoring balance in the gut's immune system.
That's fascinating. So tending to your gut could directly help your brain. What about actual drugs targeting the brain?
Well, blarcamazine is showing some really interesting results. It's an oral drug, and in patients with early Alzheimer's, it's not just showing sustained cognitive benefits, but growing benefits over 4 years.
Growing, so they get better over time.
That's what the data suggests, yeah. And it's also slowing down brain atrophy, the actual shrinkage of the brain. That kind of long-term impact is really hopeful.
It really is. Anything else surprising on the brain front?
Kind of, yeah. The research team dug into this finding about low-dose lithium orotate. They looked at brain tissue after death and found lower natural lithium levels in the prefrontal cortex of people who'd had cognitive impairment, or AD.
Lower lithium.
Yeah, and interestingly, the lithium they did have seemed to be trapped within the amyloid plaques. But when they gave low-dose lithium orotate supplements to mice,
What happened?
it reversed memory loss and actually reduced the plaques and tangles. It suggests lithium might act almost like a vital brain nutrient that some people are deficient in.
A common mineral having such a potential protective effect.
That's remarkable. And you mentioned other conditions, too.
Right. Diversification is key. For multiple system atrophy, or MSA, there's ATH434. It's an oral drug that modulates iron levels in the brain. Phase 2 results look positive, slowing disability progression and reducing that excess brain iron.
So multiple shots on goal, which is great. What about non-drug approaches or tech?
Well, emerging technologies for brain health are also advancing. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy, HBOT, breathing pure oxygen in a pressurized room.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It showed significant cognitive improvements, memory, attention, processing speed in people decades after they'd suffered a traumatic brain injury in childhood. Decades later. That suggests the brain can still recover function even much later in life.
It really does. Shows the brain's amazing plasticity. And right at the cutting edge, you've got these graphene-based brain-computer interfaces, BCIs. They're getting closer to human trials for neurological disorders.
BCIs,
And
connecting brains to computers.
Yeah, offering totally new ways to potentially restore or maybe even enhance brain function down the line.
Okay, the profound takeaway here seems to be this multi-layered defense we're building for our brains. A future with more options, diverse, accessible, potentially really powerful ways to protect your cognitive health as you get older. It's definitely moving beyond just tackling amyloid.
All right, let's pivot slightly. Let's talk metabolic mastery and lifestyle wisdom. The Goldilocks zone. We all hear advice about diet, exercise, but the latest research seems to be adding some really important nuance.
Oh, definitely. Take time-restricted eating, TRE, intermittent fasting. The research team found what you could call a Goldilocks principle.
Not too much, not too little. Exactly. A big study looked at mortality risk and eating windows. The lowest risk of death was for people eating within an 11 to 12-hour window each day.
Okay, so like breakfast at 8 a.m., finish dinner by 7 or 8 p.m.
Pretty much, yeah. But here's the twist. Eating windows that were too short, less than 8 hours, or too long, more than 15 hours, were both linked to increased risk of death, especially from cardiovascular causes.
Wow, so shorter isn't always better. That completely changes the conversation around TRE, doesn't it? It's not about extreme restriction, maybe, but finding that moderate, consistent window that aligns with our natural body clocks.
It points towards moderation and rhythm, yeah. It's a sign the field is maturing, moving past maybe some of the more extreme biohacking ideas towards something more precise.
And what about exercise?
Well, the emphasis on strength training is just getting stronger and stronger. The analysis our team looked at basically positions muscle itself as a therapeutic agent for healthy aging.
Muscle is medicine.
In a way, yes. Strength training is being called a non-negotiable intervention against sarcopenia, that age-related muscle loss that causes so many problems.
And the benefits aren't just about being physically strong, are they?
Not at all. It impacts metabolic health hugely, improves bone density, even boosts brain wellness. It's like investing in a biological savings account that pays dividends across your whole system.
Makes sense. Any other lifestyle timing things?
Yeah, interestingly, a UK study linked eating breakfast later in the day for older adults with worse health outcomes and higher mortality. Again, suggesting consistency and perhaps earlier meal timing is beneficial.
Routine seems key. And what about drugs influencing metabolism?
Well, we can't ignore the GLP-1 receptor agonists.
Yeah.
Drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, they're really emerging as potential longevity drugs.
Beyond just weight loss.
Oh, yes. They modulate metabolism, improve insulin sensitivity, and show benefits for cardiovascular health, maybe even cognitive health, too. They're definitely part of the metabolic mastery picture now.
Okay, the insight here feels very practical. It's about personalized metabolic precision. Finding your optimal eating window, making strength training a priority, maybe paying attention to meal timing. These are real, evidence-based things you can do to optimize your health and extend your functional life. Smart choices, not necessarily extreme ones. And if you are enjoying Tomorrow Unveiled, maybe you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could leave us a rating and review. It honestly makes a huge difference in helping new listeners find us. Okay, let's look ahead now. The grand integration, xenotransplantation, and AI as an accelerator. This feels like science fiction becoming reality, bringing together biology and tech.
It really does. The huge news our research team flagged this week. The FDA has approved the first multi-patient clinical trials using genetically edited pig kidneys for human transplant.
Multi-patient trials, so moving beyond just one-off emergency cases.
Exactly. This is moving xenotransplantation squarely into formal clinical testing. It's a massive step towards potentially solving the organ shortage crisis.
And that's only possible because of the gene editing, right?
Right.
How many edits did they make?
The reports mention up to 69 precise genetic edits in the pigs.
69.
Yeah, edits to knock out pig genes that could cause rejection, insert human genes to improve compatibility, disable latent viruses. It's incredibly sophisticated work making these organs safer for humans.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Are they thinking about the ethics alongside the science?
Very much so. The research team noted that proactive ethical frameworks are being developed right alongside the clinical work, covering animal welfare, the risk of new infectious diseases jumping species, and crucially, how to ensure fair access to these organs if they become available. That foresight is vital.
Absolutely. And weaving through all of this, as we've mentioned a few times, is AI as a geroscience supercharger. It
Yeah.
seems indispensable now.
It really is. AI is just crucial for making sense of the staggering complexity of aging. Our team saw examples like AI decoding diseases. Take idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, IPF. AI analysis suggests it's not just accelerated aging in the lungs, but a specific kind of genetic dysregulation.
So AI helps pinpoint the actual mechanism.
Exactly. Another example. AI modeled how spaceflight seems to speed up molecular aging in stem cells. And AI screening platforms are finding potential new longevity drugs much faster by spotting connections in huge data sets that humans might miss.
It's like having a super intelligent research assistant for the entire field.
Pretty much.
The profound insight here feels like this rapid convergence. Things that sounded like pure sci-fi gene-edited organ transplants. AI designing anti-aging drugs. They're becoming clinical possibilities. Like now, and AI is just hitting the accelerator on all of it. But, with all this incredible power comes responsibility. The updates this week also really focused on the ethical compass navigating the future of longevity. We have to talk about the ethical side.
It's absolutely essential. A major concern the research team highlighted is costs and access. These advanced therapies, gene editing, CRT, brain implants, they're likely to be incredibly expensive, at least initially.
Right. So how do we make sure they don't just benefit the wealthy? How do we ensure equity?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's a huge challenge. But the good news is these ethical discussions are happening now, focusing on things like fair patient selection criteria, trying to prevent these breakthroughs from making health inequalities even worse.
And what about safety? We touched on CART risks, like cytokine release syndrome.
Yeah. Safety and long-term effects are always paramount. For any genetic modification, CRISPR, these cellular therapies, we need rigorous long-term monitoring. We just don't know the effects over decades yet. Vigilance is absolutely key as they move into more people.
Which leads to another tricky area, enhancement versus therapy. Where's the line?
Exactly. When does restoring function become boosting it beyond normal? Think about something like follistatin gene therapy for muscle growth, or maybe those BCIs enhancing cognition. Does treating age-related decline cross over into making people better than well?
That's a deep philosophical debate we're going to have as a society.
For sure. And on a more immediate level, the team noted some interesting translational pathways for getting longevity benefits out there sooner.
Like,
Well, the example was pterostilbin, a natural antioxidant. A clinical trial found that applying it topically, like in a cream, significantly improved skin health.
okay, a cosmetic benefit.
Right, but it demonstrates this kind of cosmeceutical pipeline. You can bring potentially geroprotective compounds, things that fight aging, to market relatively quickly as cosmetics or supplements. This generates revenue and valuable human data that could then support future development as actual approved drugs for systemic health. It's a clever way to bridge the gap.
So the key insight on ethics, it's not an add-on. It has to be baked in from the start. Understanding these debates about access, safety, enhancement, it's crucial for all of us as longevity science starts to really reshape what it means to be human and how we access these potentially life-changing tools.
So just to wrap up this week's Immortality update, what we're seeing is longevity science really coming of age, is shifting decisively from just treating separate diseases of aging.
Right, like heart disease or dementia.
Exactly. To targeting the fundamental biological processes, the hallmarks of aging itself that underlie all of them. And this shift is powered by that convergence we talked about. AI, incredible new therapies, smarter lifestyle advice, and hopefully thoughtful ethical guidance.
Yeah, the focus really feels like it's shifting away from just tacking on more years to engineering a longer, yes, but also a more functional, more resilient health span. It's about living your best life with full capacity for more of your life.
Couldn't agree more. And this week's research suggests that personalized longevity medicine, it isn't some far-off dream anymore. It's rapidly becoming something integrated into standard healthcare, probably within this decade. So think about that. What does a future look like where you actively manage your biological age, not just watch the calendar pages turn? It's a future that's arriving fast, and ultimately it's a future you can help shape.
We really hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the Immortality update. Definitely join us next time on Tomorrow Unveiled as we keep exploring what's next on the horizon, and we genuinely love hearing what you think. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening via your favorite podcast app, drop a comment. Let us know your thoughts on the Immortality update this week in longevity science. Your questions and insights really do fuel our curiosity.